It's another hot day in Fresno, and I'm at CMAC today because I'm giving a talk as a part of the Alliance for Community Media conference. Hey, here's my setup. It's basically the studio on a desk that I made a couple weeks ago, but I want to talk specifically about how I can do Zoom calls with my teleprompter setup. Also going to be talking about RGB lights like my Nanlite Pavo tube and Aperture MCs and the CMAC LED sign. Oh, there's the button. No, there we go. Yeah. The title of the talk is Low Budget Hacks, so of course I had to incorporate my name into my presentation. I gotta log on. Come on. Thanks everybody. Just finished speaking for the ACM conference. It was very cool. It was a little nerve-wracking because I was talking to like 75 people who have worked in community media for a really long time. But it was really fun to show off what I've been working on, and I hope they took something away from it. And I got some props on the CMAC neon, which, I mean, Brian ordered it, but I'd been bugging him about it to get one. Now I gotta pack up all this stuff and take it back upstairs.
3 hours later.
All right, I'm back home. I think my ACM talk went well. It's always weird, you know, talking to people over Zoom, especially like 70 people and less than a third of them have their cameras on. But yeah, there was some good discussion, a little bit of Q&A, and I think it went okay. What I want to do now is walk you through doing the firmware update for my Canon C70. I have the cable plugged in so that I can record the screen. So there's a couple things I want to do first, and that's I want to back up the settings, like my menu settings, my button layout, to the SD card. Because when you do a firmware update on the C70 or the C200, it wipes it out. And I've forgotten to do that before and had to like rebuild my star menu, my favorite menu, and reset all my custom buttons. So I'm going to save the menu. So let's start with that. Okay, so I'm going to go into the menu and go over to the wrench and transfer menu. And I'm going to save it, and it's going to save it to SD card B. Okay, very quick. Pretty easy. Let's see here. Is there anything else in the menu here? That looks like that's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the camera, take out the SD card, specifically the card in slot B. Actually, I could just take the card A out. I'm going to take card B, and I'm going to back up this file to my computer. And I'm going to grab the firmware file and put it in the camera. I'm going to start with the camera firmware. There's actually a firmware for the camera, and there's a firmware for the 0.71 times adapter, the speed booster. I'm going to do that second. And I was looking at the manual for the speed booster update. It seems like you don't have to have a C70 to do the update for this if you bought one for your EOS R. I was worried. I was like, oh, well, some people bought this for like the EOS R, so they still had full frame 4K. And it seems like you can still do this on any RF lens camera. Okay, I just copied the firmware to the SD card. There's a folder called private, and inside of it was a folder called cam set. So my camera settings were in that folder. I copied the private and cam set folder and the actual file that has the camera settings over to my computer. I've got that backed up, so whenever someone changes the settings on my C70 or I accidentally forget to back it up after another firmware update, I've got it. Now I'm going to put the card back into card slot B, and I'm going to go back into the menu, and under the wrench settings there should be a firmware setting. Firmware. So I'm currently on 1.0.0.1, and I believe this is 1.0.1.1. So that's going to get us up to the next firmware. There it is. Update firmware. Okay. And the manual said this is going to take about 8 minutes, so we'll see how long it takes. Definitely plug it into power or make sure you have plenty of battery time just in case it takes a while. Okay, the camera just finished updating. I didn't keep track of what time it started, but I'll, well, whatever. I'll edit it in there. Gotta set the time. It is... I don't think I cleared the save file off the card, so I'm gonna try to load my menu. And... oh, the whole camera reboots. Hey, there's all my settings. Very nice. Okay. Yes, my menu is intact. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to take the SD card and load the firmware for the lens adapter on here, and then let's update that. All right, got the adapter firmware. Gonna also put it in card slot B. Let's go over to the firmware settings again. It's not letting me select this option. That's weird. There we go. I guess I just needed to restart it after that major update, because now it sees the mount adapter. Update complete. Here we go. So I believe the lens that I have on here is not compatible yet. Of course, it's a Sigma, not a Canon lens, but it does add support to the lens I'm using right now, the 16-35 f4 IS, and my 24-105 f4 IS got added. So I'm really excited to use those lenses with this camera. One of the other things that I'm really excited about in the firmware for the camera is a new whole area autofocus, which kind of makes it more like the DSLR and mirrorless cameras, where AF is just kind of full automatic, and then I don't need to press a button to start tracking. I can just tap on the screen and it just starts tracking the thing that I touch without needing to like initialize tracking. And I wish that would come to the C200. I wish they would add that here, because I would really appreciate not having to press a button before I want to tap to track an object. So let's see, let's go into the menu here. I also should be able to push the lookup table for C-Log over HDMI 2 as well. So that should be pretty sweet. Let's see, I think that's gonna be in here, yeah? Lookup table on the LCD, view assist for HDMI, yeah. Cool, so now we're looking at this in a Rec 709 on the camera, very cool. All right, let's also take a look at that autofocus setting. Autofocus mode, continuous, frame, whole area, there we go. And now the whole screen is autofocus, and I should be able to just tap the screen. Do I have to have tap mode on? No? I still gotta press the button to start tracking? Oh, okay. Maybe because that was off. Aha! The tracking was off. That got turned off on the settings. So I don't need to press the button. I was right. I was right all along. So I also needed to make sure face detection and tracking was on with face priority. And now I can just track whatever I need and just tap the screen like basically any of these cameras with dual pixel autofocus. That's very exciting. I dig this. I think I'm all set. Okay, so that's how to update the C70 and the mount adapter, and my two favorite things, sending a lookup table or view assist over HDMI, and whole area autofocus, so I don't have to push a button to start tracking my subject. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.